Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about top 15 choices books. For me, top 15 favorite choices books, you can also say. Just one thing, caveat, and that is I have organized it in the basis of how I liked it, and also I have not included the books of same genre because then, well, a lot of other books would be left out. So, which the book that is best from that genre has got a place in this list. And also, one more thing is that, of course, it's from my perspective. And books that have sequel, but the sequels haven't released yet, so they are also judged in terms of the sequel. We'll talk more about that when we talk about specific books. But meanwhile, let me know in the comment section also what do you think about your top 15 choices books look like. So comment below and let's get started with the list for my list. Alright, so I'm going to start from the bottom. 15th number is, you guess it, Foreign Affairs. Now, this is a really recently released book, released in at the end of December last year, and well, truth to be told, it has touched our hearts since. I mean, the book was really nice, is an unique genre and a scandalous book. Well, lots of great points. Gender customizable main ally Blaine, and then Aina Tatum. Well distributed time almost, unless at the end when you get only Blaine for one chapter and not Tatum or Aina. But the part where we see Aina betrayed us and why did she do that, and the way we find it, there should have been more to it, like a redemption arc toward Aina, like more MC and Aina time, like they work on their bonds, misunderstanding. If they did that, it would have been super awesome, but it is what it is. Still, in terms of a lot of things, it is a really nice book. It has a rushed ending and everything. That's why it's number 15, I guess, because otherwise it deserves a lot. Because idea was unique, and also the pace was not right at the start. But otherwise, from lots of point of view, like the MC and Li's connection, also the story, how it was developed, the competition there, the media story, the scandalous part, how, and we never saw it coming that Aina betrayed us and how that went on. I still think there should have been more to it, the redemption part of Aina and the betrayal, like how Winston betrayed us also at the end. That was like at the last chapter for 5 minutes also, for some 2 minutes. That was really hard. But otherwise, it's a book worth reading. And I enjoyed reading Foreign Affairs, and it was a really nice book. So it's my number 15. Number 14 is Open Heart. Currently, as of now, May 2021, Open Heart's book 3 is still releasing, and we don't know whether there is a book 4 or not. But Open Heart book number 14, it's you can say it should have been ranked higher or it should have not been here. But what I personally think, this book is really an awesome book. When I first started playing the doctor terms, medical terms, it really bugged me. But at first, it's kind of boring if you don't know the medical terms. But then the pace slowly builds up, more drama, even the medical drama, you get connected to that. You start to feel like a real doctor. Like I said, Choices books are all about living vicariously the life of a police officer or a doctor. So if you had a dream of becoming doctor one day, then Choices can fulfill that. And all the dramas that come by with this. I remember in book 1 at the end, it was super awesome. The case, the trial, and everything. There is sorrow, there is happiness. And book 2, it was really awesome too, specifically when we knew one of our allies or one of our close friends was gonna die, but then how it turned out, the whole plot with the senator, that was super awesome. Then all the characters we had, June and the competition. I remember one of the games between Edenbrook and its rival hospital. It was very good. And book 3 so far, with Leland Bloom and how they're pointing Leland Bloom's character. I still think you can't say Leland Bloom is an evil character or Leland Bloom is a bad character, because that's the point. I think this is a really good representation. In good books, good villains, they can be judged 100% wrong or 100% bad, because various people have various opinion. Ethan has an opinion, but also Elijah has an opinion. So this is really interesting how they did with Bloom, but right now we think we're at the end and it's kind of diverting. We'll have to see how they wrap it up, or is there a book 3 or not, 4 or not. But overall, Open Heart is a book that is worth reading, and it is in number 14. Well, if book 4 releases and something happens really interesting, then well, it can move up in the ranking because it has a lot of potential, and we have to see how it ends, or where it goes from here. But really nice book, but still releasing, so that's why number 14. Number 13, that is Blades of Light and Shadows. Now, you may say why this is number 13. Like I said, same genre books. We have lots of genres, so I have also decided on genres. Like, you can't match Blades of Light and Shadow with America's Most Legible. So, in that race, I have this, and also because it has multiple books as of now, we know that, but only one book has released. So, I'm not still judging it by just one book, so that's why I kept it below in the rankings. But Blades of Light and Shadow is a really nice book, as a lot of you might acknowledge that this book, when it first released, it replaced America's Most Legible, and it was super awesome book, gender customizable book definitely, and all the love interests we had and the adventures we did, it was super awesome. And the PowerPoint, like how all the races you had, human, elf, and I forgot the other races, but he had a lot of races. I think orcs, yeah, orcs, and I think you're gonna have more races, more allies in the book too. So I'm really excited for that. And like I said, it can move up in the ranking when the whole series completes, or when more books release. Now, this would be super awesome. The way the Prince Aaron, I think we never saw it coming. Actually, I never saw it coming that he would be a villain. But there were enough hints of darkness inside him when you play it backward. I mean, again, you know it, from some, of his conversations that you had with him. Overall, a really nice book. How Nia gets captured at the end, and that was like, all the readers who liked Nia, the Nia stans were like, oh no, this is bad because we wanted Nia. So yeah, that got me too. Any ally, it would have happened. So then we saved Nia. At one point, it felt like Nia was probably gonna die, and that was a really heart racing moment, I would say. And I know, as it was releasing during the year of pandemic, it was in hiatus for a long time also, but hopefully when the book 2 comes out, it releases frequently, and it becomes even better book than book 1. But overall, all the things we did, the adventures, the fight, Blades of Light and Shadow, it was like a real RPG novel within choices. Like, it's not a game, it's not just a story you play, but it was like a real RPG. It's just like a fight scene, all the things. It was worth reading, and I'm really not doing justice by putting it number 13. But like I said, it's just it can move up in the rankings when more books release. But definitely, Blades of Light and Shadow. It's if you go in this mystery genre, for this adventure genre, it's definitely number 1 or number 2. But overall, when you compare other choices books, and because like I said, it hasn't the other books haven't been released yet, so it's still number 13. But don't worry, it would go up when more books release and when it's completed. And I'm really excited for book 2. Number 12, another book that released almost at the same time Blades of Light and Shadow released last year, that is Distant Shores. I have been very vocal about Distant Shores, and lots of allies are my favorite from this book. But Distant Shores is a book that is about pirate. Again, another book that is from the past. So we had 2 books. That is one, Blades of Light and Shadow, and this one. So AMCs are almost same in these books, I remember. And it was really unique. Both of the books were really unique. And we are in the present, then we get swept back to the past. Then we have the adventure in a pirate ship. That was really awesome. I was like, wow. I mean, we have all seen movies and cartoons like that, but really to, like I said, vicariously living through that moment, through choices, you are there, and how it went on, that was super awesome. And you have the adventure as a pirate, under the pirate captain, you have your love interest Charlie, then Oliver's inclusion at the end, and then how the story progresses, Robert's betrayal, then the general, the British captain, the British general, admiral, I think that was a really nice point. The arc nemesis of Edward and the fight that went on specifically in the last two chapters, that really got me. And I think your love interest also almost dies in this book too, but you save your love interest by time loop or something. And then whatever happened in the last two chapters, and specifically in the last chapter, it was worth it because the way they said it, and when we come back from the past to present and we feel like there's a vacancy, we don't have our love interest anymore. We go to a museum, we see our love interest photo or our pirate ship's photo, and we see their story, like they loved someone stole our love interest heart all those years back, and they never returned, and they waited. So that was really sad part. So I really liked playing the last chapter for what it's worth, and we were like, wow. I mean, we spent time with all the pirate crews, and now we came back to the present, and now they're past. So what happened? We were just there for that moment. I mean, that was really, I like this kind of ending. But then we see Robert, and they say, let's grab the watch and let's go back again. But there it stops. I think they should have shown more than that. Like, what happens when we go back to past again? And I think lots of unanswered questions were there, uncovered mystery, like what happens with Edward. We don't know much about Edward's past. We don't know much about Charlie's past, or how Charlie's gonna find her mother, Oliver. I think there should have been more. This book had the full potential to have a book three, a book two at least, but well, it is what it is. But yeah, one of the favorite books for me, and definitely number 12. One or two things, if they went right, this book definitely should have been in number 5 or something. But yeah, so far so good with this book, and I hope we see more books like this in shows. And specifically the ending, in part the ending was really when we went to the museum in the present. Like I said, I keep saying this because I was so emotionally connected with that part, and we're in the museum. The museum curator was telling us about the past, and I can't explain, words will fall short about that, because you can just, the way it was described, and it was super awesome. Like the feeling of vacancy, the feeling of void inside you, like wow, I will not be ever meeting those guys who I spent time with. They're in the past now. They're probably dead in my time. What am I gonna do? I mean, how am I gonna live? I have the memory, so with that only, and that was super awesome. Number 11, With Every Heartbeat. It's a very awesome book. When I did this top 10 allies and I talked about Dakota Winchester, I talked about this book also, because this is a really nice book. Like I said, you don't have much intimate scene with Dakota, but the mental bond they build around Dakota and MC, that is enough to, make you a bundle of nerves toward the end. And the way Dakota dies, and also one thing that is, with every heartbeat, it's not about just Dakota, but the hospital crew. I remember Mateo, the way how a sweetheart he is, the way the relationship between Mateo and our MC Dakota, and there's another Morgan, I think, another girl. Like kind of forgetting her name. The way she was a tough girl, but we get to know her because people face different difficulties, right? And all the teenagers who were in the hospital, like the teenagers we see in high school, they're different. They have a different way of seeing life. They have prom, they have their dates, they have their video games and stuff. They have to worry about a lot of things. But with every heartbeat, we see those teenagers who are in the hospital. They say at one point that they would probably never even see a prom, or they would not. They don't know where they're gonna go because one little girl, Grace, dies. And so when death is inevitable, standing at that point, you don't worry about high school. You don't worry about prom. You don't worry about your date. But still, giving them that, we have this. We do a prom party in the hospital to honor Dakota, and then we also give those other kids a moment to celebrate because we don't know what's going to happen to them. So we also do this theme. I think we have the option to do the theme, and I chose personally evergreen, like we're evergreen. So that was like word is evergreen, but I think that was really dark because they're probably gonna die young, so they will be evergreen for their whole life. I mean, this is a really dark book, to be honest. I mean, the amount of death we have in it, and it's not like if you have death in other books too, like someone is killing some mystery book, but this is not mystery, right? This is not death of random people. This is a death you get emotionally connected to, and then they die. So it's really hard, emotional roller coaster, and very well represented. It will be always a number one book in its genre that I think it's unique. But like I said, in the context of other books, it's in number 11. But just know it's just number one, right? It's just replace it with nothing. The first one with zero, then it's number one book because it definitely holds a really special place in our heart, irrespective of the ranking. Now, here's the thing. Number 10, Nightbound. This is a really awesome book. First of all, when I first started playing Nightbound book, I really liked it because the way it first starts, all the mystery books, you're a normal teenager, you're a normal guy, you're coming to a town and to just celebrate your birthday, everything is normal, and suddenly you have a dream and you get wrapped in something that you never ever imagined that existed. Like a blood wraith is coming after you, and it's coming after your friends, and you make new allies, you meet new people, then you discover hidden secrets, you see people for what they really are. And the way we meet the werewolves, the way we meet like other communities, the underground communities, the dark, hidden, deep secrets, the supernatural stuff, the ghosts and everything. I mean, I wish to see vampires even there. I think we met Rhea there from the book, Bloodbound book, and it was super awesome. The fight. I mean, this book really delivered. And at the end, when we again see like the MC died, and I was like, wow, this couldn't be it. Then MC again lives again, and that was super awesome. And the way MC discovers that he's just not any human being, he was meant to be here. Even the fate was defending the MC, and I think there should have been more to it. I mean, a book too, Nightbound definitely deserved, but I think ending was again, it should have been more extended. I think people craved for answers, though there were questions that were not answered. I think it would have been better if it was a little extended, but overall a really nice book. And I think MC and Li, it should have been. I think it was Nick dominated, but still, Vera played a really important role. But I think if at the end they showed a little more, time or what happens with MC and Li, a little bit more understanding. I'm not asking for more intimate scene, but like with Dakota, there was a mental bond. There should have been a little bit more mental bond with MC and the love interest. That would have made it more awesome, better book. But overall, Nightbound is a really awesome book. I played it twice, and I don't see why I wouldn't be playing for a third time in recent future. Get ready for this, guys. Number 9, Hero. This is a really awesome book. It's one of the books that released in the early days of Choices, and this book is really awesome. I mean, in lots of books you have the bad pacing and stuff, but this book had everything. Good pacing, really well cliffhangers. Well, it ended in a cliffhanger, but I mean, except for the part that this book didn't have a book 2, it's not gonna have a book 2 like ever again. But in the book 1, the way everything went on, like superhero movies, there are lots of superhero movies, right? But the way this superhero book was designed, it was unique. It didn't copy anything, but the way it's really unique. I have read other superhero books in other apps, but none of those are as good as this is, because this was unique. The way you get your power, the way the love interests are designed, the way the villain is designed, and your past. There is a mystery about your past and who you are, your identity, how you get your power, who are your parents, where did you come from. Well, this book is incomplete. This is just like you have played just 2 chapters. Well, this book is always going to be left on a cliffhanger because you have, again, like 90% questions about a lot of things. There are 90% mysteries. They're going to be answered in book 2, but sadly there is not going to be any book 2. But still, whatever we have throughout this one book, throughout the 16 chapters, that still is enough to tell that hero book is always going to be in our heart as a tragic book, because, well, it just doesn't have a book to it. But again, Hero is an awesome book. It's worth a play. It's worth spending time. It's all the characters are nice, and the music is wholesome. One of the books, the artwork is unique. Really, one of the oldest book, and we would like to see more books like Hero. Now, Hero can be released. We know that, but still, books like Hero, we will expect them to release. My number 8 book is a very underrated book, that is Big Sky Country. If you haven't played this book, I would urge you to go back to play this book. I mean, this is a really complete book. This has two books, Big Sky Country Book 1 and Big Sky Country Book 2. But this is a really unique book. MC is gender customizable. We have two male ally, two female ally. On the top, it does seem like Sawyer, who is a male ally, the cowboy, is dominated ally, but it is not true. All the allies have same time. And the story arc, I mean, like in Open Heart, we see more of Ethan, but in this book, it's not just about Sawyer, because we have Sawyer, his background, he has a story arc. We have Juliet, I think, she has a story arc. We have Asha Roanhorse, she has a story arc, and I specifically liked the story arc of Dallas. Dallas, it was super awesome. I helped. I don't usually spend diamonds and stuff like that, but I spent diamonds on Dallas. Like, Dallas was on the run from a bounty hunter because he was wrongly alleged back in his southern state county, because he's a black man and he got blamed for something he never did, and no one was listening to him. But we get to clear his name once and for all, partly in book 1 and completely in book 2. I really got connected with Dallas. Dallas was a guy who would never open up because he had these things going on. He was not an open guy. But again, the farms, the ranches, Oakley Ranch and their rival, the Mendozas, and the small town vibe, the music. I mean, the apple cider. They're just sipping it, and you're just sitting there under an apple tree, and the music is playing, or you're on the porch. Sawyer is riding on a horse, or in the back, and then all these county fairs and small town vibes, the mayoral campaign, the mayoral election, and how these things go. I mean, it was super awesome. You can close your eyes and you can imagine you're one in the countryside. There is country music playing, and you're just closing your eyes, and the breeze is just going past you. It's just super awesome experience. I really enjoyed this book. Awesome characters, lively characters, and live it also. And this is just super awesome. The villains are also great, and overall a really nice book. I would really like to review Big Sky Country whenever I can, because this is a super awesome book, and I will give it a visit again sometime soon. My number 7 book is The Elementalists. This book has two books and one side book that I really appreciate, because I think books like that are really famous, they should have a side book to play specifically on some occasion like Thanksgiving or Halloween and stuff, or Christmas, the winter solstice, because that really connects up with readers. Readers are able to connect more with the books then. And the Elementalist book, the first book when I started playing, again, I really like this kind of books. Like, we're just a normal kid, and then we just travel through a mirror and we see we're not normal. We feel like we're not destined here, then slowly we see, well, we were destined for this. And we see our twin brother or sister, and then the whole story progresses. Specifically in book 1 with Rife, the story was really awesome. I mean, there's blood magic, and it was really a dark book. I mean, it was really a fearful book, to be honest. Like, what could happen with Rife? We have just seen his pictures and the blood magic, the killing, because our parents probably died. We thought at that moment. And then I think the love interests were really awesome. I mean, Beckett, Shreya, and I specifically liked Aster, because, like I said, the book was really, dark, but whenever we saw Aster, we sort of it lit up our mood, it lit up our everything, the spirit, and I really like that. And overall, the way it was designed, specifically in book two, again, Kane, he was a really unique villain, to be honest, because at first we thought maybe he's a good guy, then we thought no, he's not a good guy, and we see our mom and the fight with Kane. I mean, you don't have to say much about this because you just know that these books are really awesome this way. And the way the magical skills were designed, I mean, you are art attuned or sun attuned or water attuned, and the magic skills you unlock, that was really fun. I mean, you need to actually perform, remember what to do, and I really liked that how you learn the magic tricks, not trick, the magics, and then you perform them on trees and everywhere. And like I said, the blood magic part, in the first book, I was really scared, and I mean, while reading that, it was almost like the It Lives series. And then book two, it was not that scary, but still, from an adventure point of view, it was super awesome. The wood nymph versus a human, that part was really awesome, and all the allies, everything was super awesome. Overall, a really nice book, and glad. I mean, it has two books, would have been appreciated if it had another one, but it is what it is. Overall, a great book. Number six, Perfect Match. Perfect Match, again, a book that is adventurous book, from the adventure genre and artificial intelligence. It's about an agency that guarantees to you that they will find the perfect match for you. And then, you know, we first don't doubt anything, but then we see the perfect matches. They really, what they do is they have this Sloan, I think, who's an engineer, and other engineers like her, scientists, who will develop an artificial intelligence and put memories in them, and they would make a perfect match for you. And then after some time, they would take it back, and they would make another one for another person. And they were doing this. Now we meet our perfect match, Hayden, gender customizable love interest. Then we see they're after them, and they have volatile, really vile plans, intentions, and then the fight begins for Steve, for Hayden, and then Damien, then Damien's copy, then fighting with all the clones, all those robots, artificial intelligences, and then we discover that these AIs, specifically Hayden, they have their own feelings also, and that was super awesome. And all the adventure we have, and here we travel outside United States, we go to Europe, we go to Germany, we go to other places, I think Iceland or Greenland, I think, and it was super fun. It was super fun. The way and adventures, specifically the fight at the end of book one, it was breathtaking. And book two also with the dam, how we are gonna miss him, and we don't know what happened to Dam. And the Damien, we get him back, but still, it was super awesome. All the characters and the way they feel, the book, the adventure, and specifically the president and Hayden's clone, the evil clone, and how they affect us, and how we fight them at the end to totally wipe them out, and how we celebrate the win, and all the scenes we have at the end of book two. It's a really awesome book, and I really enjoyed playing that. We're down to the last five, and number five is it. Number five is It Lives series. The It Lives anthology. It's just, I don't watch horror movies much, but this is super awesome because I got to play this as me, like my main character was me, right? And the way the story was designed, there was element of fear, but also there was element of chilling. The music, the super awesome music, it would just chill you down. And the way it was designed, the nerve score, you need to increase those. And your fate is in your hands. Your destiny is in your own hands. You need to play the diamond scenes, to boost up their nerve scores, and then how they would behave under pressure. That is totally up to you, and you get to decide that. And that was really super awesome, one of the main part about the book. And then It Lives Beneath. A lot of people say It Lives Beneath is better than It Lives in the Woods. Well, it's true. I think they learned better because the nerve score design was far better in It Lives Beneath book, and the MC love interest connection. I think Parker was a great love interest in that book. Also, Danny, Imogen, and Tom, all of them were really nice love interests. The LIMC time was really balanced in the second book as opposed to the first one, where I don't think we spent much time with LI and MC. There was not much mental connection, So that was there at the end of book in the book two, and the fight specifically in book two, the whole adventure. Our mom, dad, who killed them? And at first we just thought it's probably our grandpa. Then we see no, it's not our grandpa. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride. It was like our grandpa can't do that. Then our grandpa does that. Then we see no, it's not our grandpa. Then we find it's Imogen's parents. Then we see no. It was like a whole lot of story. Who is responsible? Then Josephine comes into play, and I think then it's another whole story, who to save, humans versus ghosts and all those things. I mean, I can go on and on for an hour about this book, because this is really awesome, and how we unlock our powers. And specifically in book 2 we get the letters from Josephine, and it was really awesome. I mean, we get to learn about the history. When I read the first letter, I knew something was up. Maybe someone killed them, or killed her, or something happened in the past. And the way the letter is described, so it was written by Josephine in past, maybe 2 centuries ago or something, and it was really awesome to read. Like, wow, you were at that moment. What happened? The past, the history. You get the clues. I mean, all in all, great adventure, great element of fear. Everything is super awesome. The clues, the powers, the past, the mystery. I mean, it really connects you up. The music. So definitely, it's top 5 book, and in my list, it's number 5. Now we're down to number 4, Veil of Secrets. I have recently reviewed this book, and I'm gonna do a weekly review for this book. But that being said, that's a different issue. Veil of Secrets. It's a really awesome book. I mean, this is a mysterious book with mystery genre, the suspense genre, and I don't think there is another book that is from the mystery genre and that is such well bound, such well tied up, such well represented, because the way again, just like it lives beneath book, we don't know. It's even more mysterious. To be honest, we don't know who the real killer is till the end chapter, till the last 2 chapters, I think. And everybody gets killed by someone. So we see, like, okay, this is the suspect. Then we suspect someone, then they get killed. Then we suspect another person, they get killed. Then we suspect another person, so they get killed. So the amount of suspense. I mean, really. And the love interests were really awesome. The relationship we built there, Birchport, a small town, it was located, and the storyline, how it was designed, crimes, the deeds of some greedy people in the past. Those deeds came back to bite them back in their backs. So that was really awesome, how we learned about that. And it's really about the crime. Like, when you're reading a crime book, it's just not about solving the case, right? It's also about studying the crime, like what goes into criminal mind, why they did what they did. And that's exactly what we know from this book. When we investigate the killer, when we find out the killer at the end, we also know why they did what they did, how they did, and what was going through their mind. So it was really well constructed, well represented, well shouted out in this book. A really great book. And at the end, we get the option to stay with Kate, to marry Kate, our friend, for whose marriage we come to the Birchport town. And that was the point. I was low-key hoping throughout the book that we would be given that option, but I was not entirely sure. But when we get the option, I definitely take it with 30 Diamonds Sane. That was worth it. Let's start the last 3 books. But one thing I would like to say, these last 3 books are really hard to distinguish. I mean, these 3 books have similar value for me, because it's hard to I've just given them numbers, for the sake of giving them numbers. But all the 3 books are number 1 books for me. All right, number 1 books. So just number 3, this is just for the sake of technicality. I had to rank. I just ranked Amy, America's Most Eligible. super awesome book. I mean, the competition we go, it's like, Love Island or something. You go to some place and you're just an ordinary guy, but you get selected for the show and you need to survive there. You're a small fish in the big leagues, and how you survive. Jen, the one of the best love interests, if not the best love interest, they guide you through that, and all the challenges you have, again, the house challenges, beach games, the beach challenges. You gotta spend time in the beach. You have shady characters, you have friends, you have allies, you have enemies, you have the relationship banner. You gotta choose what you say every time really carefully, because everything you say affects the relationship with the other contestants. Who you want to impress, who you want to hurt, whose ass you want to kick, or who you want to have in your arms. It's all totally up to you. It's a game. You have mystery, you have drama, you have scandal again in this book. You have suspense, you have adventure, you have ups and downs, you have a roller coaster ride throughout book one, book two, and then the marriage part in book three. I mean, I can't explain in words how awesome the book has been. And it ended on a perfect note. I mean, I'm not complaining with this ending. I mean, as a diehard fan, I didn't want it to go on and on, but that's not the case, right? All good things come to an end. And America's Most Eligible has been a great journey for all the readers, I believe. And it has been a successful book for choices, too. And a great book. Number two, next up, HS's original trilogy, High School Story. If you don't know, now you know that Choices first around 2012 released a video game called High School Story, and that was the original game. It was not a story game, but you get to build a school. So there was this Berry High School. Now, so from there they adopted this part in this choice. When they released Choices, they adopted that and they created the High School Story book. You have lots of characters like Kyra, I think, and Kara, and then you have Julian, you have the other seniors like kind of forgetting their names. So all of them, they were in that story game too, in that game, High School Story game. So it was really awesome. I first played this book and it really touched my heart. I mean, all the characters are super awesome. Emma, then Michael, then Caleb, and then you had I think Aden or something. I remember from forgetting that Asian guy. And then we had Maria, yeah. So it was a really great book. And all the ups and downs you go, all the sports games, prom, homecoming, winter party, all those exams, classes, dramas, homecoming comedy, prom comedy, the high school revenge. We go to Hearst High, we steal the stick, and then we come back, the football games again. It's a big thing there. And the way it unfolds, it was super awesome. And it just never ends there. And it goes on and on. So I definitely liked the book, High School Story. And when it ended, I was left with the wish for having more books. And in High School Story Class Act, we did see the former books characters, but it was not like we expected. But still, High School Story, I have played it thrice or more than that, and I don't see why I'll be playing in the future. If you haven't played High School Story, go back and play it, because this is a really nice book. And last up, Endless Summer. I mean, this book is one of the early books in Choices, and Endless Summer, if you judge it by mystery, by the time it's spent with love interest, by I have the time travel thing, book one, then book two, then book three, it just builds up and up and up, and I mean, in all the books since chapter 5, it gets more interesting. I played it long after it released, so I was like, oh, when 3 hours are gonna pass and I'm gonna get a new key, I'm gonna get some diamonds to play the book, I can't wait for the book. So it was like that, super awesome. And specifically, it was really creative. I think at the end of book one, you need to solve a riddle, and you need to use your brain, you need to use paper and pen, what I'm saying. So it's just, you need to write down, and you need to think about it. I was not able to solve it, but I reached really close, but I failed it again. So, but super awesome. I think we had one of those moments in Blades of Light and Shadow too, where we needed to solve it. We needed to just hold it in front of a mirror, so I failed it again. Well, if in the book 2 of Bolus we get another scene like that, I would like to crack it for sure. But all in all, the artwork was different than recent books in Choices. I'm talking about Endless Summer. but still, it was a really great book. I mean, the storyline, the plot, the the appeal that this book does to your senses, to your mind, it's just inexplicable and super awesome. And the time travel part, how, and this, endless, the concept of endless, the green people, the blue people, they're out in the jungle, and your friends, your group there, this once in a lifetime adventure. And I think they were different people, like how Craig used to talk, this vibe, like you are stuck in a place, you don't know what's going to happen, and you have different sets of character in the room. They fight, they argue, they love. It's sort of, the thing you want to see. So that's what happened in these three books, and it's one of my favorite books. Absolutely loved it. All right, guys, that's it for today, and we talked about my top 15 books. And but please don't forget to share your top 15 books or top 20, whatever it is, your ranking or your favorite books in the comment below. Let's talk about it in the comment section below, and join the conversation in my Telegram channel. That's Pixelberry Choices Podcast. You can just type on your Telegram and you'll find the channel, or I'm going to link it below in the description box. But join the conversation there, or join the conversation below in the comment section. Thanks for listening, and let's hope to talk to you again in the comment section below. And see you again. Bye.